Mr. President.
The Majority Leader.
Yesterday, the Senate took the first step toward concluding our consideration of Judge Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. The judge is one of the most brilliant, admired, and impressive nominees for any public office in a generation. Tomorrow, we'll vote on advancing her nomination toward final confirmation on Monday. Our recent debates have been heated, but curiously, talk of Judge Barrett's actual credentials or qualifications has hardly featured in it. The Democratic leader summarized his view yesterday, quote, he said, "It's not about qualifications." His words. Instead, our Democratic colleagues have tried to claim the Senate's process itself is not legitimate. These claims are supposed to lay groundwork for radical, institution-wrecking changes down the road. But of course, they're not true. We live in a constitutional republic. The legitimacy of an outcome does not depend on the feelings it provokes in politicians. Let me say that again. The legitimacy of an outcome does not depend on the feelings it provokes in politicians. Legitimacy comes from precedents, rules, and ultimately the Constitution. So let's restate a few facts for posterity. Number one, there is no inconsistency between the Republican Senate's decision in 2016 and our decision to confirm Judge Barrett this year. Here's what I said in my very first floor speech following the death of Justice Scalia, quoting myself. The Senate has not filled a vacancy arising in an election year when there was divided government since 1888, almost 130 years ago. Not setting some new precedent, just stating a fact. 15 times in American history, during a presidential election year, new Supreme Court vacancies have arisen and presidents have made nominations. 7 of the 15 times, voters had elected an opposite party Senate to check and balance the sitting president. Not surprisingly, in those situations, only 2 of the 7 were confirmed and none since 1888. The other 8 times, the same party controlled the Senate and the White House. 7 of those 8 were confirmed, all but one. The one exception unraveled in a scandal. We followed precedent in 2016, and we're following precedent this week. Number 2, it's been claimed that Chairman Graham broke the rules by reporting out Judge Barrett's nomination. Not so. As the parliamentarian confirmed on Thursday, Standing Rule 26 of the Senate precedent are crystal clear. If a majority of a committee is physically present and votes in favor of a nomination, reporting it to the floor is a valid action, irrespective of what committee rules may say. And Chairman Graham didn't even violate the rules of his own committee. Past chairmen of both parties have done precisely what Chairman Graham did on Thursday morning. In 2014, for one example, Chairman Leahy and the committee's Democratic majority voted multiple federal judges to the floor without 2 members of the minority present, just a few years ago. Nothing remotely unprecedented took place. Not in committee, not on the floor. Number 3, timing. Some colleagues kept repeating the absurd claim that this is the most rushed confirmation process in history. Well, Mr. President, that's flat out false. From the announcement of the nomination to the start of hearings, 8 Supreme Court nominations in the last 60 years moved more quickly than this one. 8 in the last 60 years moved more quickly than this one. Then, from the end of the hearing to the committee vote, half of all confirmations since 1916 actually moved faster than this one. Justice John Paul Stevens was confirmed in 19 days, from start to finish. Justice Sandra Day O'Connor in about 4 weeks. In the past, justices have been confirmed in 1 week, some in 1 day. There's no argument that Judge Barrett's nomination has moved at some breakneck pace. Facts are facts. Number 4, contrary to what's been claimed, the Senate has absolutely confirmed Supreme Court nominees later in presidential election years than this one. Multiple justices were confirmed after elections had already happened. We've had multiple Supreme Court justices confirmed in December of election years. Senates have even confirmed nominees for lame duck presidents who just lost. So another non-issue. So look, all of these false claims embarrass those who repeat them, but the most important point is this. In this country, legitimacy does not flow from the whims of politicians. Legitimacy does not depend on which political party makes a decision. Legitimacy comes from traditions, rules, and the Constitution. Our Democratic colleagues have spent months obsessively demanding that our president repeatedly acknowledge that the election will be legitimate even if he loses. But here in the Senate, here, with this confirmation process, Democrats are flunking their own test. So let me say that again. Democrats want President Trump to keep repeating that the election will be legitimate regardless of whether he wins. But here in the Senate, the very same people are saying that our vote on Monday will only be valid if they like the outcome. Our republic cannot abide any political faction making illegitimate a sloppy synonym for we're not happy. Well, of course they're not happy. That doesn't make anything about this illegitimate. That kind of recklessness, Mr. President, leads down a road none of us should want to travel. So that's why I keep correcting the record. Even though it might seem silly, after all, if Republicans have the votes, why not just ignore my colleagues' misstatements and move on? But I've chosen not to do that. It remains our duty to separate right from wrong, fact from fiction, for the good of the Senate and for our country. Judge Barrett's confirmation process has followed every rule. It's followed the Constitution in every respect. We have abided by the norms and traditions dictated by our history. And, Mr. President, we're going to vote tomorrow.